To begin the figure 8 necklace, you need to just cut up some wire. I use about 5.5 inch length of wire. Make sure whatever linear dimension you use, you stick to it. This is sterling silver, as I mentioned before. Beautiful metal, polishes to a nice shine. That's the back of the link. You can see the way it's interlocked, and that's the front of the link, of course. So, what I'll do is I'll measure and cut exactly at 5.5, and then I'll cut myself a number of pieces of wire, using the first one as my measuring stick. Okay, let's see how this works. First thing you want to do, when I make the Egyptian link, is I break it up into a variety of steps. And instead of making a link from start to completion in one shot like you did, for example, with the S-link or the figure 8, with this one, I do a series of steps. I do step 1 to all the pieces of cut wire I have, then I go to step 2, step 3, step 4, and finally attach them. So step 1 in this case is simply bending the wire in half. Do your best. Try to make it even on both sides. Just like that. So I have 4 pieces of wire here ready to go. I'm going to bend all 4 in half. Now, I'm going to take my round nose plier, and where the bend occurs, I'm going to position my plier there. What I'll often do is I'll get a magic marker. I don't have one with me, but what's nice to do with the Egyptian link, and the reason you should do this is because it's important to keep the part that links up all consistently the same size. So what I'll do on my round nose pliers is I'll take a magic marker or a felt tip pen, and I'll mark a specific area on the wide side. You want this loop that you're going to form to be relatively wide, so I'll mark an area on the wide side and use that every time I create a link. And what I want to do then is I take my wire, put it at the marked area, bend it with my finger a little bit, crimp it on, hold it firmly, take my flat nose and crimp it. So what I've done is I've made this loop. See that loop there? Look at that. That's what you want to do. And I'll repeat that step 4 times. Take your time with this. It's important that you're accurate with each step. This is not the kind of thing that you can rush through. If each link is an individual quality link, then your necklace is going to be really nice looking. So I'd suggest too that if you go through the trouble of doing this, you should consider sterling silver. How many times are you going to do this in your life? This could be the only time, and you're going to have it for quite a while. Something nice about having it made in sterling silver. I don't know if it's psychological or what, but I just feel better about the stuff I make in sterling as opposed to the stuff that I make in nickel silver. Step one then, we have the loops, or hoops, whatever you want to call it, created. These become the locking mechanisms that you see over here. Now, I'm going to take my round nose again, or you know what, better yet, use your flat nose for this. You want to hold the hoop that you just made right about there. You see that? I'm putting my pliers at the base of the hoop. You don't want to put it down there. You don't want a huge space. You want to have it nicely positioned at the base of the hoop. Then you want to give your wire a gentle 90-degree turn. Now, what I mean by a gentle 90-degree turn, that is a 90-degree curve, but it's rounded. It's not a sharp angle to do. Once again, I put my plier at the base of the hoop. You see that? Now I'm going to give it a gentle 90-degree curve. I want to point out at this point that with the Egyptian link, I think it's very important to make 4 or 5 at a time and then connect them. Having connected them, then go to the next 4 or 5. The reason why I say that is if in the process of making your necklace, if you go wrong at any point in making the link, you'll discover it right away. Whereas if you wait to make all of them and then connect them, if you've made a mistake and they can't be attached, and that happens, if you go wrong with one of the phases of this, there's a slight possibility that you can't connect them, and then you're going to have wasted all that time. And I know, unfortunately, it's happened to students. They've thought, well, cool, let me make the whole thing and then I'll connect them later, and then they find they can't fit them into one another, and the time is wasted. So make 4 or 5, make sure they're perfect, connect them, and then move on to your next 4 or 5. So what to do next? Having given it the 90-degree curve, this is where you're going to begin to create the coil. To create the coil, what I do is I'll grab the tip of the wire, and you've done this. You've done this with the fishhook clasp. You know how I tell you to, at the very tip, pinch it? Create that little rounded tip that you pinch tight to close it. Okay, let me repeat that on the other side. So you have something that looks like this. You have the wire, the loop, the bend, and now these things that remind me of insect ears or antennas. And they're a little bit uneven, but it's minimal. I don't care about that. You can trim your wire down before you bend it to make sure everything is even. I usually don't worry about that kind of minor variation. Now here's where you're going to use your flat nose. You're going to create the coil, and the way you do that is you grab it with the flat nose. This is another case where I don't know exactly how to communicate the motion that's involved. You just have to watch me carefully and then do it. Trial and error, you will get it. I'm holding it firmly with my right hand, and